Hello everyone, this is Woven Sister and I am back with another tutorial. This one is about comic book panels and it's sort of for beginners or if you're brand new to comic book panels. I did a video previously about comic book panels, but I didn't like how it sounded, how I was fumbling over myself, and how I was unknowingly holding information from you guys just because I was brand new to the whole voiceover tutorial thing. But here I have Photoshop open. I don't know if this method works for all digital art programs. I just know it works for Photoshop CS5 and CS6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of my webcomic pages from, my webcomic, Between the Realms. This is a very easy page. As you can see, it has a lot of squares and rectangles, so it's very angular and it's very easy. For beginners, I recommend doing just, easy panels, just so you're not stressing yourself out, and, just so you're not overloading yourself either. As you can see, I just have this page uploaded and scanned into Photoshop, and we're just going to make this as easy as possible. The more you get used to making comic books and comic book panels, definitely branch out and see what you can do, but, we're just going to keep this simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the swatches over here on the left in the toolbar. I usually have black selected as it's just a standard color. You don't have to have black for your panels, but it's just a standard and something I suggest for beginners or, newcomers to all of this. I'm just going to assume anyone who's watching this is brand new to comic book panels and making them. So yeah, so I recommend black for any newcomers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this rectangle tool, and then we're going to hold on it, and we can select all these different other variations. Again, feel free to do what you want when you feel experienced and comfortable, but I usually use just the rectangle. Sometimes I use the line tool if the page has a lot of crazy panels and the rectangle tool just isn't doing it for me. So yeah, so we're just gonna stick with the rectangle tool, and then I come over here to the layers, and as you can see we have background selected, which is this. We're gonna come here to this notepad looking icon, and we're gonna click it 3 times. Why 3? Is because when I create a comic book page, I start with very basics. I start with the panels, the line arts, and the background color. If you double click on your layer, you'll be able to rename it. If you click on the icon or the layer itself, it'll come up with this layer style window where you can just do a bunch of other stuff. We're not focusing on that right now. We're just gonna focus on renaming it. So just double click and then write what you need to. You can just double click on the text and then you can rename it. Okay, now I'm gonna go over to panel layers. You want to make sure you have the panel layer highlighted. Because I'm going to go over here to paths, which is right next to channels, and then I'm going to go over to the so familiar sticky notes icon, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to allow me to create a new working path. And you want those 2 lined up. If you have the path selected on line art or the background or something like that, it's not going to turn out right, and it's just going to be a lot of grief. So you just want to save yourself a lot of time by just making sure that you have the panel layer highlighted when you create a new working path. Trust me. Okay, so we have it selected. We have this selected. We're going to go back to layers, and we're going to go to, let's see, we're gonna make sure we have the rectangle tool selected, and what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna start anywhere, whatever works for you, and it usually depends on, for me, I just choose whatever works for me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna left click on one of the corners, and we're gonna hold and resize. Again with this one, left click, hold, and resize. Zoom out a little bit. Alrighty, so we have that all good and dandy. We have, you know, those selected. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to paths over here. Make sure it's selected. We're gonna right click and hit stroke path. You wanna have the pencil selected tool, and you want simulate pressure unchecked. Once that's all good and dandy, you click OK. And you head back onto layers, make sure panels is still highlighted. Go over to edit, stroke, and then here you could change the width of the panels and also the colors. I recommend changing colors if the background calls for it. Like, let's just say your background is purple, but your panels are sort of blending in and they're hard to see. If that's the case, then you just change the color of the panels with that, you know, color block there. And again, I just suggest that too if you're a little bit more comfortable doing comic book panels. We're just gonna make sure that everything's all good and fine. We make sure the center is selected, blending mode is normal, and opacity is 100%, and preserve transparency is unchecked. Again, if you guys have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm going to change this to 5, and as you can see, it's not thick enough. So I'm going to go back up there, hit undo, and restroke, and I'm going to change it to 10. Okay, alright, that looks better. That's nice and thicker. Alright, that looks good. And there you have it. What you can do is when you're done with, you know, changing the width, you click off of the working path into the gray area there, just anywhere really, because it thinks that you're still working on the panel path if you have it selected. So just like, you know, when you're done with changing your size of the said panels, when you're in the stroke window, you know, just click off the paths. But that's all I have today. I do plan on doing more tutorial videos that will go more in depth about comic panels and, you know, the more advanced ones. If you guys would like to see those, or, you know, dialogue bubbles, how to do those, text and colors and line arts and all the other fun stuff. I do comics for a living. So, you know, I have no problem, you know, sharing what I learned and what helps me make comic book panels. You know, I can help out as much as you would like me to. So definitely leave your comments, concerns, questions below, or feel free to hit me up on any of my social medias, which will also be in the links below. But that's all I really have to show you for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys have any suggestions, definitely let me know. And again, this method only really works with Photoshop CS5 and CS6. If it works for other digital art programs, then you're gonna have to look up other tutorials or ask me, and I can help you figure it out, which I'll definitely do my best.